Hello. Today I'm just gonna have Bible study. I do Bible study every night, so I'm just gonna go over Bible study. Today I read Romans 13, and I'll read it. I read the whole chapter, and I read it from the KJV, but I also read from the NLT on my phone. But I just read it from the King James version. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of God. The powers that be are ordained by God, or of God, my bad. Whosoever therefore resisteth the power resisteth the ordinance of God, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to evil. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. For he is the minister of God to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid. For he beareth not the sword in vain, for he is the minister of God, a revenger to execute wrath upon him, and that doeth evil. Wherefore ye must needs be subject, not only for wrath, but also for conscience sake. For this cause pay ye tribute also, for they are God's ministers, attending continually upon this very thing. Render therefore to all their dues, tribute to whom tribute is due, custom to whom custom, fear to whom fear, honor to whom honor. Owe no man anything but to love one another, for that he that loveth another hath fulfilled the law. For this thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness, thou shalt not covet. And if there be any other commandment, it is briefly comprehended in this saying, namely, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Love worketh no ill to his neighbor, therefore love is fulfilling of the law. And that knowing the time, that now it is high to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light. Let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and in drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying. But put ye on the Lord Jesus Christ, and make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. Now, I'm sorry, I'm still learning on reading that King James Version, so my bad. But you can go read it in NLT or whichever version you prefer. But I'm just going to go over my notes. So for NLT, it gives you the little title or subheadings or what the specific topic is about. So the first topic was respect for authority. And we should respect those who are in authority because they are specifically picked by God. And I don't know, God's a way of working, because I feel like this specific topic has been something that I've been dealing with. We may not always agree with our authority or agree with those who are above us, might say, but we still have to respect them, because they are there for a reason. And everything they say you might not agree, but you can still take something out of it. We should always be respectful to those who are above us, whether we agree or don't agree. The authorities are God's servants, so what we do unto them, we are doing it also unto God. Once again, we must respect them. God put them there for a reason. And then not only that, we're human, we're not perfect. And then we're entitled to our own opinions. So everyone is not always going to agree with one another. But that's understandable. We should abide by the authorities to avoid punishment. Make sure you are doing your part. Regardless, like I said, regardless to what you might think or believe, make sure you're doing your part. Even if you feel like the authority is not doing whatever, you still do what you need to do, because you don't want to get punished because you were rude or disrespectful or just not abiding to the law of God or a law of the authorities. The second subtitle is Love Fulfills God's Requirements. You shall owe nothing to anyone except for your obligation to love one another. We are fulfilling God's requirements of his law when we love one another. It's not about what we do. It's not about what we give, what we have, what we don't have. It's about loving one another, and not just the ones that's easy to love. Those who might be a little bit more difficult to love. Those who we might not like, click with, or those we may not always agree with. We have to love everyone, because Jesus didn't please God by giving us things or giving us gifts or doing things for us. He pleased God by loving all of us. You fulfilling his purpose, which included loving all of us. And not just loving the ones that loved him, but loving the ones that did not love him. Those who persecuted him, those who ridiculed his name, to his face. Jesus died for those who did him wrong, and if that's not love, I don't know what is. So fulfilling God's requirement is not about your works or your deeds. It's about love. We have to love one another. Love one another as ourselves. Do unto others as we want others to do to us. If you don't want people to be rude to you, don't be rude to people. Even when someone might be rude to you, you still continue to be sweet. You still continue to keep a smile on your face. Because even if people are rude, people notice your actions and your responses. And some people just pick with you just to see what are you gonna do. So continue to keep a smile on your face. Continue to, be sweet. Continue to love one another, because you just never know. And then God loved us. We give God plenty of reasons not to love us, but he continues to love us. So that should be a help or something to keep in your heart in order for you to love others. We may not always deserve it, or we might feel like people may not always deserve it, but we didn't deserve it either. We want to be honest. So, but I hope you all were blessed. That's all I have to say, and I hope you have a good one.